Speaker, my question is for the amazing Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing.
Amazing.
Speaker, the safety of Ontarians, especially our vulnerable, is a top priority of this government. As it currently stands, social housing providers are not allowed to refuse to offer a unit to a tenant who has already been evicted for serious criminal activity. This has created unsafe environments for those living in community housing across Ontario in their home where they should feel protected. Can the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing please share with the House the steps he is taking to protect those living in community housing?
The question is to the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing.
Thanks, Speaker. And I want to thank the member for Scarborough-Rouge Park for that outstanding question. I also want to thank him for the tremendous advocacy that he does in his riding and in this House. Speaker, yes, give him a hand. He deserves it. Speaker, the member is right. People have a right to feel safe within their homes and in their communities. Our government has already taken real action on violence in our communities thanks to our Attorney General and our Solicitor General who are combating guns and gang violence across Ontario. However, there are very serious concerns about people, especially those who are our most vulnerable, about feeling safe in their own homes. That's why our government is making community housing safer. We are giving community housing providers the authority to refuse to rehouse a tenant previously evicted for a serious criminal offence. It's going to provide greater protection to individuals living in community housing so they're not fearing for their safety, Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Minister, for that informative answer and showing the commitment our government has in keeping the people of Ontario safe. Mr. Speaker, I have heard stories of individuals in community housing encountering unsafe situations because people previously evicted for serious criminal offence get rehoused. This is not fair to the law-abiding residents who want a safe place to call home. This also creates a heightened stress on community housing providers as they try to help those who need it most. This is a long-standing issue for the City of Toronto. Mr. Speaker, can the Minister please tell us more about his proposed reform, how his proposed reform will protect some of the most vulnerable in our province?
Minister,
Thanks, Speaker. Again, I want to thank the member for that question. The member is right. The request for enhanced powers to keep communities safe came from the City of Toronto to the previous Liberal government who ignored the request. However, I want to quote Mayor John Tory, who this is what he said yesterday, Speaker, about our proposal. Quote, "We have a duty as governments to do everything possible to stop the misconduct of a small group of people who are disrupting the lives of law-abiding Toronto community housing residents. This change by the province sends a strong message to criminals that they are not welcome in TCHC, and we will not tolerate them threatening the peace and the well-being in our communities." That's the quote. Mr. Speaker, our government is committed to protecting those most vulnerable, whether they be in our communities or in our housing spaces. Through an all-of-government approach, we are getting that done. These proposed changes will not only help the residents in Toronto community housing, but tenants across this province.